In the previous video we showed how the calendar component was populated with orders from the Northwind database and how as you navigated from month to month, AJAX callbacks were made to populate the calendar. In this video we're going to dig behind the JavaScript and Xbasic that is used to make this all happen. So as you recall from the previous video, we showed that the calendar used two different events. One called CalendarDraw item, which was called to actually draw each item on the calendar, and then onMonthNavigate, where we were calling CalendarMonthNavigate, another JavaScript function. So let's go back now and take a look at this CalendarMonthNavigate function first. So let's go first to JavaScript functions, and then here's our CalendarMonthNavigate function. So the first thing that this function does is get a pointer to the calendar control. So we use the Dialog object's get control method, which gets a pointer to the calendar control, and we pass in DT1 because that's the variable that identifies this calendar. You can see here that we gave this calendar a variable name of DT1. So now we've got a pointer to the actual JavaScript object that represents that calendar, and then over here what we're going to do is, if the menu is open and the menu is displayed if a calendar has more than one item, you recall that when you clicked on the hyperlink, a little pop-up menu showed all of the orders for that particular day. If that menu is still open when you navigate to the next month, we want to close it down. So I'm not going to go into details on that right now. We'll get back to that later. But this code here is just simply closing down the pop-up menu if it is currently open. But here's the important part. So when you navigate to a new month, an AJAX callback is made, and this AJAX callback calls an Xbasic function called getEvents and passes in the data inside this JavaScript variable here called data, and data is constructed in this previous statement over here. So in order to tell the AJAX callback what month and what year it needs to go and get data for, we need to send back the year and the month that the user navigated to when this CalendarMonthNavigate function was called, and that's stored inside the calendar objects underbar DP month and a DB year property. So you can see here we're constructing a JavaScript variable in the form of a query string. So we say here underbar month equals, and then we get the month that we navigated to, and since month is 0 based, we add 1 to it, and then we also get the year. So this query string is going to look something like underbar month equals 8 and underbar year equals 2012 or something like that. And then we call the JavaScript function called getEvents. So let's go now and look at the getEvents Xbasic definition. So we can see here this is where getEvents is called, and what's passed into getEvents is e.underbar_year and e.underbar_month, which are the variables that we specifically sent back in our JavaScript AJAX callback. And here we convert those values into a date value, calling the Xbasic date value expression. So we get the start date and we get the end date. So now we've got the start date and the end date of the month for which we want to display events. So then we construct a SQL statement that joins the order ID and customer table together, and then next we're going to actually call a built-in function in Alpha 5 to help us get the data. So let's pause now and pick this up in the next video.